と思うんですよね。ですね。
Good evening, everyone. We will now begin the evening service of the Miroku Association headquarters, expressing our gratitude to God and Meishu-sama for blessings and protection received while participating in the construction of paradise on earth. Amatsu-Norito and Miroku Prayer, please stand. Taka ni kamsumarimasu. Kamurogi kamuromi no mikoto mochite. Sumemi oya kamuri zanagi no mikoto. Tsukushi no gimuka no tachi hana no. Odo no awagi harani. Misogi harai tamo utogi ni narimase. Harai dono o kamitachi moro moro no magagoto tsumike gare o. Harai tamae kiyome tamae tomao sugoto no yoshi o. Amatsu kami kunitsu kami yao yorosu no kami tachi tomo ni. Amen no fuji koma no nimi furi tatete kikoshi meseto kashikomi mo aosu. Miroku o mikami mamori tamae saki hae tamae. Miroku o mikami mamori tamae saki hae tamae. Koshie miyoya nushi no kami mamori tamae saki hae tamae. Koshie miyoya nushi no kami mamori tamae saki hae tamae. Kom nagara tamachi haemase. Kom nagara tamachi haemase. Great God of light, creator and giver of all life, in accordance with your divine will, the long age of night draws to an end. Your radiant divine light, shining evermore radiantly, awakens the dawn of the glorious age of light, a time long awaited by all humanity. We thank you for guiding us to your divine plan and for the privilege of channeling and receiving Johrei. May our spirits and bodies be illuminated and purified as we lead your truths given to us by Meishu-sama. Make us pure and effective instruments of your divine light, so that we may serve you and all those with whom we come in contact. May paradise on earth be realized, with health, peace, and prosperity, a reality in our lives. Great God of light, bless and protect us. Radiate our souls with your divine light, so that we may truly become instruments of your grace. Please be seated. We will now receive group Johrei.
Eu da mesma bênção.
Johrei is now concluded. We will now listen to a reading from Meishu-sama's teaching. A way to live. Those who guide others with kindness, love, and impartiality, no matter who they may be, act in accordance with God's will. To deceive others is the same as stealing their rightful possessions. All such acts are betrayals. Become one who can bear any hardship or misunderstanding with a smile, as though it were nothing. God trains and disciplines those who have some great mission to accomplish by giving them many lessons to learn, many difficult problems to overcome. Of them all, I think the hardest lesson for anyone to learn is the controlling of indignation at some wrong committed against oneself. An individual should realize that the more he or she experiences things that must be borne in silence, the greater the mission in life must be. When you reach the point where you can bear any injustice or humiliation calmly, without giving way to anger, you have passed the first stage in your spiritual training, the learning of self control. Remember that God trains all those he has especially chosen through trials. So, whatever irritates or offends you is his way of molding your character. This is the attitude of one who trusts in God.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining the evening service of the Miroku Association headquarters. The experience I'd like to share with you this evening is from Ana Clara de Carvalho Lima. She's from the Barcelona Johrei Center, Spain. Ana Clara has been a member for 10 years, and she gives service at the Barcelona Johrei Center. She's originally from Brazil, where she went through many conflicts, serious health problems, and a lot of financial difficulties. During this period, her father died, and with that, she began to feel a deep sadness, on top of all the other problems she was already experiencing. A year later, she was diagnosed with severe depression, along with anxiety disorder. She lost 22 pounds in 2 months, often couldn't leave her house, eat, or even take a shower. She just wanted to lie down. She had insomnia, vomiting, and severe chest pain. These were the most difficult years of her life. However, even being in an extremely difficult situation, where everything had lost its meaning, she made the decision to change her life completely and decide to move to Spain. There, she already had cousins, and she believed that with this change, she could find the evolution she was looking for. While still in Brazil, she dedicated intensely, followed all guidance she received, made a special donation to express gratitude for this opportunity. 3 years ago, she arrived in Spain with the zoning of giving service to the construction of paradise on earth. Arriving in Spain, as she had very little money and didn't have a job, she initially started living with her cousins until she managed to organize her life and go her way independently. She was received with great affection and felt very welcome. However, the daily coexistence was not easy, as they already had their routine and a way of life totally different from hers. She just had to adapt to a new reality, and so she did. All these changes were not easy. Every day she needed to adapt to something new, felt lonely, and often cried when she thought if she would achieve her goals. But inside, something told her she was on the right path. Such financial condition, she had great attachment and difficulty in making donations of gratitude, something that did not happen in Brazil. But she was always guided by her minister not to be afraid and to understand that donations are the materialization of our gratitude to God and Meishu-sama. And through this, one gains permission to grow and prosper. She's a lawyer, and one of her goals was to work in her career in Spain. She did a postgraduate course and managed to do an internship where she could learn a lot. For months, she barely had money for a train ticket to go to university and to the internship. But she didn't even think about giving up for a second, and little by little, she started to get clients. In addition to this, she also started working in the mornings as a nanny, taking care of her cousin's children. She also made typical Brazilian foods to sell, and so she was always got enough cash to meet her needs and support her monthly expenses. In this initial period, thanks to the help of family and friends, she gradually moved forward. Then she met her soulmate, and after 5 months, they formalized their relationship through the Registrar of Stable Unions. This allowed her to change her immigration status, allowing her to work regularly in Spain. She had finished postgraduate studies, and with her partner's support, she decided to continue her studies to do a master's degree. Even though she did her best to give service while in Brazil, she gained permission to move to Spain, received many blessings, and also continued to dedicate. She reflected and recognized that she was still not engaging in the practice of expressing gratitude. Once again, she spoke with her minister, who guided her on the importance of doing it correctly, that is, with love, gratitude, no attachment, and at least 10% of her earnings. He emphasized that Meishu-sama would never lack to provide for her needs, and that her donation also meant gratitude to her ancestors. Furthermore, she remembered a guidance she received from her minister in Brazil on the occasion of the special donation she made for the permission to move to Spain. He told her that at that moment she would have added credit in the spiritual realm. However, when she arrived in Spain at some point, this would end. Therefore, she should not stop dedicating and should maintain regularity in the practice of donations. Thus, she committed to be more useful to the divine work, seeking to become a true humble person, more altruistic, always aiming at the happiness of others. She committed to taking care of people based on the principles of our faith. During the New Year service, the minister communicated the church's objective of purchasing a property to be used as the Johrei Center in Barcelona, as currently church activities are held exclusively in the members' homes. She felt a great happiness, as it will surely allow members to dedicate more, make more people happy, and expand the divine work in Spain. However, in the meantime came the pandemic and consequently the confinement. Along with that, the feeling came in her that everything she had planned would not be possible to put into practice. The first 2 weeks of the confinement were frightening: fear, insecurity, many uncertainties, and even the discomfort of so much anxiety. After the first 15 days, she realized that she was thinking materially and that she needed to realign herself with the teachings of God as revealed to Meishu-sama. At this moment, she recalled all the commitments she had established previously, and she totally changed her feelings, starting to pray daily for the people who were suffering and for the spirits that were born each day in the spiritual realm. She called every person she knew and who were suffering, and even from a distance. She gave them support, as well as Even without any remuneration during confinement, she practiced daily donations with the purpose of buying a property for the Johrei Center. She attended the daily online services of the churches of Portugal and Brazil, thanking God and Meishu-sama for all the protection and blessings received. She worked tirelessly in her master's research, managing to continue her studies online. Ana Clara and her fiancé had the opportunity to strengthen their bonds, and each day they were more united. She felt that even with the difficulties imposed by the pandemic, everything was going perfectly in her life. In June, when the state of emergency ended, and little by little the activities started to work again. Impressively, new customers were appearing every week. She made donations gratefully and without any attachment. She realized the strength of making donations, and she never stopped doing it. She even started to practice in advance, even before getting a new client. The results were amazing. Every day she felt positive changes in her life. She gained permission to channel Johrei to her mother-in-law for the first time. Even without understanding, the mother-in-law began to cry and told Ana Clara that she felt very emotional, spontaneously recalling many moments in her life. Ana Clara also had the opportunity to serve as an instrument of God in the life of a dear friend who had been away from the church for many years and gained permission to have her ohikari re-blessed. This friend is also a lawyer, had completed the same postgraduate studies as Ana Clara, and had been unemployed for a long time. However, just over a month after the ohikari re-blessing, she was blessed with a job. A short time later, unexpectedly, she received a call from a friend of her cousin offering a job and a percentage in a joint venture to work in her professional field. She couldn't believe what was happening. She felt that she had really fulfilled her commitment in the divine work, but through the sum of virtuous deeds, she was allowed to receive this great blessing. After a few days, the friend who had reconsecrated the Ohikari and got a job called Ana Clara and told her that her boss was calling her for an interview. She thanked her friend many times over for remembering her, but she declined the offer because she was already employed. Together they reflected how incredible this moment was for both of them, and that it was unimaginable after so many things to have reached the point where she was turning down a job opportunity. Only God and Meishu-sama could have performed so many miracles. With all these wonderful experiences and blessings, Ana Clara renews her commitment to God, Meishu-sama, and her ancestors. She aims to continue dedicating tirelessly to the divine work, making many people happy and being helpful in the construction of paradise on earth. Ana Clara is very grateful to God and Meishu-sama, her minister, for all the guidance and all those who helped her to fulfill her mission in Spain. Thank you very much for listening to this inspiring faith experience from Ana Clara of Barcelona, Spain. I wish you a very wonderful evening. Thank you very much.
This brings to a conclusion our evening service. Thank you everyone for joining us, and have a blessed evening.